There's a disturbance in the force. And a warm welcome to one and all. And if this is your first time here, the overgrown child with a love of Star Wars, that is the Scruffy Trader. No shock what I've been watching last night. But what else have I been watching? Been watching the charts. And it's taken a little while to present itself. But there's a good opportunity coming up. And I'll show you that. And it really is a disturbance in the force. So if you like all things trading and a little bit of mayhem thrown in, do click that little subscribe button. Genuinely motivates me to do more. But more importantly, if you want to see more of this, it'll end up in your feed. So let me flick this over and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Now this is the DAX, and it was rattling its way up, but then it gapped down. Disturbance in the force, if you like. And this black hole, this gap, presents an amazing opportunity because markets like to fill gaps. Now, I purposely stayed away from this morning, really because I wanted to see what was going on, because the markets are very news driven at the moment. So for all, I have a framework of how I get into markets, how I trade markets. I've also got to be very careful because X does not mark the spot. You've got to be able to read the conditions, and I needed to see some form of reaction to come here. Now, what we're seeing at this moment in time is the market is trying to push up. Now, if that's the case and it continues, well, this gap is going to be a fill point. And that's what I'm interested in. Now, it's coming from a level that is pretty solid, and I can see that mark there. So even if I only get it to the tops of here, I'm doing well. And I can get some decent money out of this. Now, I did flash this up earlier on to the guys. That is the gap. Could be looking to fill the gap. And they're a little bit worried about it. And the guys like to chat and one thing and another. And if you see here, that's exactly what they do. They all have that little chat about the rags and riches. This is lift you up when you're down, pat you on the back when you've done well. They'll talk the day trades, they'll talk their swing trades, and then they'll put in that chart, have a good chat about it. It's a good community. And then the meat and bones of what this is here. And this is all the live streams that I do, breakdowns of the charts, because I'll break a chart for them while I'm trading it, that sort of thing. The strategies that I use, Goldeneye, River, Push. Morning Star's just something I'm working on, and you'll see that start again tomorrow. So enough of that lot. Let's see what we're doing here. Basically, I'm going to be looking to go to the long side. It's there or thereabouts to start. Okay, so what I'm going to have to do is well, I don't have to do it, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in slightly to see what's going on. Well, straight away, you can see that big gap. Why is it interesting? Because there are gaps and there's gaps. You can have a little gap and it's like 20, 30 pips to neither here nor there. But this thing was colossal. Because from there down to the open there, that's big. 439 drop, just thump. Kept on going. That is a move and a half. And it is an absolute bumper. And that's one of the reasons I stayed out. I wanted this to settle down and see what it's doing. So now that it's made its hand, if you like, and it's pushed up, the trigger point I'm waiting for was to come back somewhere up next to this close, this gap, if you like. Why? Because I want to see if it's going to try and fill. If it is, I have an opportunity. If it stayed under here and it just oscillated around and I tried it to go long, it may well tank and keep on going the other way. I just needed to see some kind of reassurance. So watching it through the morning till after lunch seemed to be the sensible thing to do. So all I need to do now is wait. I can see it's pushing here and it's trying. Let's just move this down to 5 minutes so we can zoom in a little bit further and you can see it's come down and it's stalling here where I've marked in some levels. So this area is not bad. It's not a bad entry point. Okay, and why is that? Well, it's very simple. You can see the push up, it's clustered and then it rocketed away. It's come back to the same cluster point and it's staying there. There is a failure of pushing down here and you can see it's pushing up because the inertia, if we look back on the hours chart, just go back, seems to be to the upper side. But what concerns me are these tails, you know, because that's showing me there's still a number of sellers about. So I've got to be a little bit careful, but there is an opportunity here within this range. Now, when I'm day trading, I only want 10, 20 pips. And if I'm sized correctly, you know, $5 a stage or something like that, even just 2 or 3 quid, it'll be enough to make some money, you know. And that's all we're looking to do as traders. I kind of try to put it in perspective at the weekend with Focus about drilling down into the trade. I think too much emphasis is put on the money, and it shouldn't be. It should be the process. The money is a byproduct of the process. Okay. So what I'm going to do, it's looking almost ready to go. I want to see a close above this black line. As soon as I get a close above there, I'll be looking to enter the market to get up somewhere around here. If I can get up to there, great. And then as the day progresses, just pull that out, it'll be way up here. Now, if I can make enough money, I don't need to swing for the fences. Just stop. Keeps the account safe. And that's all we do as traders. We keep the account safe. We take a sensible trade and we go with it. All right. So what I'll do is I'm just going to let it play out, and then I'll come back to you and explain a little bit more what I've been up to. But essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to trade here. If I have to, and it triggers and then goes against me down to this sort of swing point down here, I'll average into the trade to get better pricing to come up. And if that pays me, fabulous. And the trick with that is be conservative. In other words, dip your toe in the water. And if it runs for you, result. If it goes against you, you've still got enough margin, etc., to maneuver into the trade. And it does get you out of trouble, but it makes you a lot of money as well. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. Okay, boys and girls, I've closed the trades off. Very good reason why I've closed the trades off.
Myself.
Because can you see all these tails coming in?
Yeah.
where it's showing that there's quite a lot of downward pressure and it's pushing up. But the main reason I've closed it off is because I'm not greedy. I like to be paid for what I do. So what you've seen me do is it's gone up, took a bulk of the money off, let it come back, entered at the same place, took it off, took it off, took it off, took it off, and collectively they paid me 500 quid. All right, for working just this section of the chart. Now, if I just left that money on, it would have been, oh, I've got money, oh, I've got no money, oh, I've got money, oh, no, I've got no money, and panic. But because I'm shaving all the time, that means that if it goes against me, it's paid for, and if it goes for me, I've got some shavings that will let it run, and it is paid very well, and that'll help offset. Guess what, boys and girls? Because one of us is sitting there feeling sorry for herself. And what have you just booked there for the next hour?
The usual.
Yes, she's going off to the beauty parlour because she's been watching this and has decided that she has on her screen, right? I ain't joking, right? She's meant to be working. No, she's going, ooh, I'll just go to the beauty parlour because it happens to be along the road. So she's booked herself in for a facial and off she goes. I've got to live with it. This job costs me a fortune. I'm going away next week because I need the break. Should we go away next week?
Yeah.
All right. Coffee with Scruff will be in a hotel next week. We're going to go away. So there we go. What we've done today is really just work the chart.
Right.
All right. It's not swinging for the fences. It's seeing an idea, working the chart in the direction that I decided on. And that direction was given from that big gap, because the market will eventually try and get that. So I've got a direction. Worked it till I got my money. Happy days. Well, worked it till I got my money and she spent it.
Not all of it. Only a little tiny bit.
Oh, aye. And then you come back with God knows how many creams and God knows what. Can I have a new toy?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good girl. All's well that ends well. So there we are. If you're stuck, drop it in the comments below. But as a word to the wise, if you're day trading, don't swing for the fences. Just be conservative, carve off as you go, and as soon as you've hit your wage figure, stop. Makes life easier. Do it again tomorrow. I kind of touched on that at the weekend with the focus video, and you'll see that I was focused on my job, and you'll see exactly what she was focused on at the same time. Clue to what that is, it weren't her job. Right, so as always, boys and girls, trade well, keep your risk managed, but above all, do what you love, and the money will follow. See you all in the next one.